Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is going to be a video on our macrophyllas, or our big leaf or mophead hydrangeas. This is our little bed that we have. We have two more in another location, which we'll show later on in the video, but we wanted to go over each variety and kind of give you some insight on them. So the first one here is Endless Summer Original. This one has some beautiful blue blooms on it. It's hardy zones 4 through 9. You could have blue or pink flowers depending on the soil pH. For blue flowers, you'll want a soil pH of 5.5 or lower. If you want pink, you want 7 or higher. This one could easily get 3 to 5 feet tall and wide, and it will probably be bigger when it matures. So this is a beautiful hydrangea. Like I said, we got plenty of new blooms. I just wanted to get the video in before we ended up clipping off these old ones. But yeah, what a beautiful shrub, right? I would like the blue to be a little deeper color, so we'll have to get some aluminum sulfate to put into the soil to help with that. But a beautiful shrub nonetheless. Has some nice big leaves to it, and this should be very beautiful years to come. So the next one right here, this is Endless Summer Lance Dance Sky View, hardy zones 4 through 9. The flowers are a little bit burnt up right now. You can see some of the new growth starting to pop through, so we'll get some new flowers later on in the season. This one is hardy zones 4 through 9. You probably get 2 to 3 feet tall and about 2 to 4 feet wide. This is reblooming. It basically flowers on old wood, which is last year's growth, and the new wood, which is this year's growth. So these new growths right here that you see popping out will probably make some flowers later on in the season. But this had a bunch of beautiful flowers. They had a bluish color to them, almost like a little multicolor, but as you can see, the blooms are aging. So eventually when these get more crisp, like that one over there, we'll end up chipping off the blooms as high as possible to basically encourage the new stuff to come out. Supposedly this one is probably more on the hardy side to keep the blooms for next year, people were saying. But overall, a very nice compact one that will bring definitely joy to you. I know you really shouldn't be planting these things kind of close to the AC unit, but I got a decent amount of space, so I think they'll be fine. But this one right here is a Summer Crush. And this one gets 1.5 to 3 feet tall and wide, but obviously, as you can see, this one has some age to it, and it's definitely exceeding that 3 feet right now. Probably looking at like 4 feet, and it'll be probably closer to 5 for sure. Possibly bigger, depending on how long this shrub lasts. So this is a reblooming type, just like these other ones are. And as you can see, some of the old wood over here that I kept up, and I'm glad I did not trim these, because a lot of this old growth has all these flowers on it. Now, had I clipped these old growth back down in the beginning of the season, when a lot of people were, I would not have these flowers right now. So I'm glad I waited it out. In Connecticut, we kind of had, you know, kind of a funky spring and a late frost. You know, I'm glad I did not trim back all these branches. Now, some of them I could probably trim back, like these, but you can see there is some leaf on them. Even though I didn't trim back that old growth, there is some leaves growing on it. And like I said, a lot of people ended up, you know, clipping off that old wood too early, in my opinion. And I'm glad I kept it, because like I said, even here, you could see there is some new leaves coming out of there. So there's a lot of growth on it. Just really leave them be. If you have long stalks that are not doing anything, much later going into August, then you could definitely trim it back. But I'm glad I waited, because the payoff is incredible. Came out really nice and has a bunch of nice pink flowers. So we'll kind of have the blue over here, kind of a bluish, more pink over here. This one will be pink, and that one's like a dream cloud. We'll get to that in a second. Overall, this one is a nice mature size, I would say, so far. And flowers are looking great. This one definitely benefits from some morning sun, afternoon shade, all of them would. But this part does get a little bit of afternoon sun later on, but they aren't too bad. It kind of hits this one, and these two over here. There's kind of like a line where the sun ends, but a dream cloud has been the most heat tolerant, I would think, for the sun exposure compared to all the other ones. So definitely impressed with the dream cloud. But yeah, there's the summer crush. Like I said, nice big size, and it's gonna get bigger for sure. So this one was originally a floral hydrangea. This one is called Pink Sunset. It's hardy zones 5 through 9. It opens up the pink and deepens to a vivid rose or a bubblegum pink, which is a very beautiful color. This one is supposed to get, I believe, 12 to 18 inches tall and wide, but it could possibly get taller. I saw one site said 3 to 4 feet tall, but I think that was a a misprint or something. But definitely 12 to 18 inches tall and wide, so that will fit nicely in between here and the dream cloud. And originally this one was inside the house for a while and had nice big beautiful blooms, but the thing was getting really crispy regardless of how much water it had. If we gave it less water or more, the leaves were really getting crispy. We planted it outside, and all this new growth, all this leaf on it, it looks very good, and it's definitely thriving. It should be good to go next summer, hopefully, with the new blooms on it. But overall, like I said, I wish I had pictures. I got some on the camera roll. I'll go show you that so you can see how the blooms looked. So as you can see, the blooms looked really nice on these things, really big. The blooms got to about a massive 9 inches wide, which is a nice big flower. It's very, very nice. So definitely happy with that. This is a dream cloud. I actually got this at Home Depot for a nice cheap price. As you can see, we got some new growth on there and some new flowers popping out. So I'm really looking forward to that coming out. So the dream cloud basically has white flowers, and depending on your zone, they can turn a little pinkish red, like as you can see on mine. They were white for a while, but then they had this little tint of pink to it, which looks pretty cool. I like it. It's like a little mixture of both, but like I said, they come out nice and white. So same zone, hardy 4 to 9. This was introduced in 2026. It is reblooming. It has excellent disease resistance, and like I said, this one seems to be the most sun resistant out of all the ones over here, or at least up there. I would say better than the other ones for sure. But yeah, 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, hardy zones 4 through 9, and like I said, you don't got to worry about soil pH. You'll get the white flowers, and depending on your zone, you may get some of this pink going on, as you can see. But like I said, this thing gets the morning sun, a little bit of afternoon shade, and then like you'll get some evening sun, and it's been doing great. So we also have 2 more macrophyllas in our other bed with our panicles, and I'll hop over to that so you can see it right now. All right, so here is our last variety of our macrophylla hydrangea. It is a blue Delft. It's from My Beautiful series, apparently. It's reblooming, and this thing has like almost tripled in size from when we first got it. I'll show you a photo of it. It had nice big blooms. This was a florist hydrangea, planted it in the ground, came back this year, and it is growing like crazy. It's doing very well over here, and it's basically in full sun all day for the most part. But this thing has some nice big blooms on it. We got this beautiful bloom right here just kind of hiding in there. But yeah, some nice big foliage. Got another big bloom right there. Like I said, this was a florist hydrangea. We planted it in the ground and came back stronger than ever. Looking really nice. little bit of sun scorch right there, nothing serious, but like I said, it's doing great. It's really flourishing. And we got one more on the other side. It's getting a little crowded over here. We had a rainstorm for like 2 days, 2 separate days with flooding, and some of these panicle ones are just really dropping to the ground with the weight of those heavy blooms. So let me go to the other end of this bed, and we have another one, same exact variety. So let me get to that real quick. Head past all these beautiful panicles, and here is our second one. Like I said, Hydrangea Delft. There's the tag. Yep, like I said, for my beautiful series, if you can see that. And I don't know if this says anything else on it. Let's see. Yeah, Hydrangea Delft. Unauthorized propagation prohibited, so don't propagate it, apparently. But anyway, like I said, this is Hydrangea Delft. Keep that there. And this one is growing beautiful as well. Like I said, we got both of these at the same time. I showed you the photo that we had originally. It was a florist hydrangea, and like I said, planted it in the ground, and it is doing great. We got plenty of new growth on here. Nice big bloom. Look at that. Beautiful. Now these were a deep blue when we first got it, and now they're kind of like turning kind of like a purplish, pinkish color. But like I said, that's because of the soil pH. You can see all that new growth happening inside there. But yeah, we got to get some aluminum sulfate. We didn't do anything with it this spring. We just wanted to see how it was going to come out, and obviously it needs to lower the soil pH to get that beautiful blue. I really like that blue color, so we're going to get some aluminum sulfate and do that for next season, since we're already basically in August, almost there. But yeah, overall this is nice, hardy, not flopping. Some nice big leaves, like I said, beautiful foliage. And right now it's kind of in the shade, but it does get a good amount of sun. This nice big limelight prime is kind of blocking the sun from it, and it probably needs that. So I'm definitely more of a paniculata guy, but the macrophylla definitely still have a place in my heart, and of course in the garden, and yours should as well. I did not cover these at all during the winter, and like I said, we still got some nice big blooms, and we'll probably have some later on in the season. So far so good, right? I may end up covering the macrophyllas that we just went over in the video in the winter, because supposedly that will help with the blooms not doing so good. You know, some people call them endless summer, more like endless bummer, because, you know, the late frosts end up killing those buds, and unfortunately that's part of the game. And if you have that problem, don't prune it back. Just during the frost, after or during the winter, make sure you cover them up with some type of fabric material, anything, just to help preserve those beautiful buds. All right, everyone, so that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed our little macrophylla bed. We thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.